हम शुरू करते हैं। ओके, अब मेरा स्क्रीन शायद दिख रहा होगा। ओके, तो क्या बताना चाह रहा था। ओके, तो बेसिकली आज हमारा मेन एजेंडा क्या है, राइट। हम क्लाइंट साइड जो पर्टिकुलर वर्नेबिलिटीज होती है, राइट, जैसे कि एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन है, राइट। बेसिकली यहाँ पे जो भी इंजेक्शंस रहते हैं, राइट, यहाँ पे क्या चीज़ रहता है कि टिपिकली जब भी हम एप्लीकेशंस देखते हैं, वेब एप्लीकेशंस देखते हैं, right, then at that point of time what will be happening is even though there is a two-tier architecture or a three-tier architecture, right, where the application is available, right, and the application has the database within its own local host, or it is the database is hosted within the separate network itself within their environment, right. It is remotely hosted and the application is interacting with that particular database. So even though in any particular type of scenarios, right, basically this particular type of injection will be applicable and we will be able to do those specific type of things. Okay, so in this scenario, what will be happening is whenever we are getting, right, when it comes to our web applications, how we were taking those specific payloads and we were entering, validating whether that particular application is available or not, right, is vulnerable for that particular injection or not, right. So similar to that one, we will be having here also the similar kind of scenario itself. Now, what we will be doing, whenever we are having this kind of the client application, we will be going to the functionalities, right, login, registration. We will be going to those specific functionalities like when it comes to profile change, all of those specific functionalities, and we will validate whether it is available or not, right. So in this scenario, what actually we will be doing here, for example, we are having this particular type of commands, right. Similar to this particular commands are there. So I will be already, I have linked this particular links within the presentation as well. You will be able to go to that particular place and you will be able to get that details as well. So here we will be able to check for those specific things like this one, right. So typically what we will be doing is we'll be taking up that particular parameter and we will be going forward and we will be executing the same details. Now what we'll be doing is we'll be going to our login page. Once we are within the login page, so at that point of time, we will be taking up our payload. So here in this scenario, we will be having our username. So instead of username, what we'll be entering is basically we will be entering admin. Typically admin will be the default user, right, which has the privileges. So we will take that particular admin, we will enter it within our username and password field, and we will go ahead and log in. Now typically what will happen is basically in this scenario, once the application accepts that particular payload, we will be able to go forward and bypass that particular authentication or get more and more details out of it. Likewise, we'll be able to see here. Now in this scenario, because of my memory, right, this application, right, it takes some more time, and basically it is not allowing me to install that particular .NET framework in this machine. So that is why it is throwing the error. But otherwise, if you are trying the same application within your system, right, so at that point of time it will work and you will be able to see the details as well, right. In my system it is throwing error because of the memory issues, but in your system you'll be able to definitely see that particular result. So likewise, we'll be able to check for those specific details as well, and we will be able to validate how actually we are going to get now, right. So same particular type of payloads will be taking up. This is the next payload or this payload, right, and we can check and we can validate what actually are those specific, whether what actually are the results which we are getting at that point of time, right. Now the main thing is when it comes to thick client application, right, all there, when it comes to your normal web applications and those kind of things, there are a lot of vulnerabilities which are available, right? Something like XSS is there, HTML injection is there, right? All of those specific type of vulnerabilities. CSRF is there, right? RFI, LFI is there, right? Even those specific type of vulnerabilities, right? Now, all these particular vulnerabilities will not be available in thick client application. Why exactly, right? When it comes to XSS, HTML injection, they are developed with a specific language, right? Something like PHP is there, which is web-based thing. Now, to execute this kind of things, right, it requires our browser elements, right, to execute this kind of code, and it will be doing, right, it will be processing that exploit which is available for that JavaScript and all of those kind of things, and HTML code and those kind of things, right? So this kind of vulnerabilities, right, whatever are the things which are available, typically CSS injection, HTML injection, XSS, right? All of those vulnerabilities will not be applicable because the client applications will not be executing this kind of HTML codes, right? These are separate applications. Those applications are web-based applications, which are thin client application. These are thick client application, right? So here there is no specific way where even if you are entering those kind of things, it will not be applicable because your thick client application will not be able to process that particular payload itself, right? So how actually execution will be possible. Second thing will be CSRF, RFI, LFI, right? This kind of things also will not be applicable because whenever within the CSRF, right, or RFI, what actually happens is typically within the CSRF, your browser will be executing all those session related informations and those specific type of things, right? So even though at that point of time, typically we need to prepare that CSRF payload from which we can forcefully execute that particular details within the victim or target machine or target browser. Here those kind of things is not applicable because my HTML pages will not get loaded by the thick client application, right? Same thing goes with RFI and LFI as well. File traversals will not be applicable, right? Because at that point of time, typically what will happen is this type of vulnerabilities are specific to the web page, right? Where it will be calling the external services or internal services within the application. Here, those specific type of things will not be there. Okay. So that is the main reason why comparatively, right? If you see when it comes to web applications, there are comparatively more vulnerabilities than the client application because when it comes to the web applications, mobile applications, as they are web-based applications, typically there will be more vulnerabilities because they are doing some the specific task which is a bit more within the web services. Here those kind of things will not be there, right? So at that point of time there will be the limited type of vulnerabilities, right? And that those specific things will be seeing within that particular environment itself. Here the vulnerabilities will be something like DLL hijacking, DLL injection, right? Side loading attacks, validation of the code of the application, whether there is any kind of hard coding sensitive data or not, right? Validating whether there is temporary files or just storing in the registry. So all of those kind of things which are specific to the thick client application within the system, those kind of things will be applicable here. Okay. So this is what we were having as a part of our vulnerabilities. Now, let us go forward with our next step, which is reporting. So when it comes to our reporting, right, how actually we will be reporting at that point of time, right? So when it comes to our reporting part, typically whenever we will be reporting, our client will be having those specific type of templates itself, right? Our organization will be having the template which will be shared to us with our client itself. But here the reporting part will be having the similar kind of information which normally the web application reports or mobile application reports will be having. The first one will be vulnerability name. Second one will be vulnerable function. Now previously what we were having in web applications, it was vulnerable URL or those kind of things, right? But here there will be vulnerable functions because there is no specific URL which is available within the client application. We will be having vulnerability description, vulnerable function, right? Steps to reproduce, and then remediation. Okay, so basically these are the main things which should be available. Now many times applications or the organizations will be giving extra details, something like they might be adding the template, right? Within the template they might be adding, like in the first few pages they might be adding their own services and their own history and those kind of things. And they might be adding the timeline and the client name and those kind of things, and at the end they might be adding some of the authorized signature, right, or some senior person who will be signing that report. So those kind of things will be there, but as a part of penetration tester we will be having this particular information. Now typically we'll be adding the
ये
same
एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन का कुछ प्रैक्टिकल वगैरह नहीं है क्या?
एक्चुअली ये सेम एप्लीकेशन पे प्रैक्टिकल हो सकता है, पर मेरा मेरा है ना मशीन आज इसमें ये वाला जो है ना, ये पर्टिकुलर क्या बोलते हैं, ये मशीन, उसमें जो डॉट नेट की लाइब्रेरी है वो मेरे में क्रैश हो गई है मेमोरी की वजह से, तो मतलब वो पूरा वो प्रोसेस ही नहीं चल रहा। तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, मैं उसको एग्जीक्यूट नहीं कर पा रहा, वरना यहाँ पे क्या होता कि जैसे ही मैं ये पेलोड डालता ना, तुरंत ही मुझे लॉगिन का स्क्रीन दिखाई देता। तो इसीलिए वो स्पेसिफिक चीज है, पर अभी मैं नहीं दिखा पा रहा क्योंकि यहाँ पे मेरा सिस्टम ठीक से नहीं चल रहा है, इसीलिए वो मेरा है ना पूरा मेमोरी प्रोसेस, अगर यहाँ पे देखोगे सिर्फ 5 या 7,
ओके
मतलब बहुत कम मेमोरी। पर ये सेम सेम में ही अगर अपने खुद के सिस्टम में ये चलाओगे ना, ये एप्लीकेशन जो मैंने दिया हुआ है, तो वहाँ पे वो चल जाएगा बेसिकली, बस वहाँ पे उसको अपना पेलोड ही चलाना है और कुछ नहीं है। ओके, so basically, what we will be having is here we will be able to go forward and enter our vulnerability name. We will be able to add those specific details, how actually it is working up, right? Basically, how we will be, what actually is the description of it, right? What actually is the functionality where we have found the particular details, what are the steps, right, which we had followed to execute it, and the remediation, right? So all of those specific things will be available and we'll be able to see the details. The same thing will be available in the reporting part as well, and at the end we will be able to get the details. So this is how our reporting, right? Reporting will be same part, so it is not the major thing. And even this SQL injection part is also same itself. We just need to execute the payload and we need to check how actually it is validating the same. So that is the main thing which was pending. Any doubts, any queries, anything till now? No doubts. So any doubts, any queries in like full session? Any like any topics which you are feeling that you are having doubts or not?
मुझे तो कोई डाउट नहीं है।
Okay. तो हम क्या करते, we will do one of the revision part, right? We will be going through all the topics which we had covered up, and then you can tell whether there are any particular topic which you face, like which you feel that okay, that you are having any doubts or not. So let me just open up all the things here.
तो ये कल
Let me
करे क्या?
just close my कल है ना मेरा, अभी नेक्स्ट वीक एक पूरा मीटिंग है, और कल ये लोग भी अवेलेबल नहीं रहेंगे, तो एक बार हम आज देख लेते हैं, फिर अगर ऐसा है कि फिर वापस से डाउट है तो हम सेपरेटली कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम आज ही पूरा रोक देंगे, तो कभी भी ऐसा डाउट हो तो फिर बताना, हम सेपरेटली कनेक्ट कर लेंगे। ओके,
ओके
so let me this virtual machine so that my system will be a bit more faster. and then we will open, I will open all the presentations and we will see the details as well.
स्क्रीन स्टक हुआ है।
हाँ हाँ, वो मेरा थोड़ा मशीन जो है ना वो हैंग हो गया था, एक मिनट, क्लोज कर दूंगा। मुझे 1 या 2 मिनट देना बस, मैं ये क्लोज कर लेता हूँ और सारे प्रेजेंटेशंस जो है वो मैं ओपन कर लेता हूँ। इवन मेरा CPU भी 9500 जितना ही खा रहा है, पता नहीं क्यों। कुछ नहीं हो रहा। और यहाँ पे देखो 92%, 94%, पता नहीं कितना सीपीयू उठा रहा है। मुझे 1 मिनट दो, इसमें क्या करता हूँ, सिस्टम रिस्टार्ट कर देता हूँ। और फिर हम वापस से ज्वाइन करता हूँ। बस 1 मिनट दो। मैं तुम्हें होस्ट बना रहा हूँ ताकि ये मीटिंग शुरू रहे।